Okay, so I thought I'd just start with a quick story. So when I first came into WordPress, it was just before custom post types landed. So it was about 2008, 2009. And looking back, I can kind of see, like before custom post types, WordPress was sort of like this blogging tool and whatnot. And then as custom post types came in, it kind of became this everything tool. And all of a sudden, you could build all these really cool things. And the thing that I was into at the time was affiliate marketing. And so I ended up creating a plugin because I wanted to have a plugin that would let me manage my affiliate links. And basically, I made a plugin. It's called Thirsty Affiliates. It's still available today if you look on the .org repo. I ended up selling it later, but it taught me a lot of things about building a plugin that people actually want to use. And getting people to stick around is sometimes a challenge when you're building a product. So I know a lot of you are agency owners, but if you ever consider building a product, then this hopefully will help you guys a little bit. So my name is Josh Kohlbach. I'm the CEO of Ramira. I've been building WordPress plugins for over 12 years. Hopefully that doesn't date me in my age. Yeah, we've got a team now, and we have a team of 25 people across 6 countries. So we've kind of grown up a little bit over the last decade, and we've learned a couple of things about building plugins. So we're most known for our WooCommerce plugins these days. And in fact, our whole company is focused on WooCommerce. So we're most known for our Wholesale suite, and advanced coupons are probably our 2 biggest ones. But we've also done a couple of acquisitions. So we acquired Tribes and WC Vendors, which you might have already heard of as well. So what is stickiness in terms of plugins? So I kind of came up with this term to capture a set of ideas around building a piece of software that encourages people to use it, keeps them around, shows them what the ROI is, and turns them into long-term kind of advocates. So for me, stickiness is all about a product's power to keep users coming back. And I break that apart into basically 4 areas. So the first pillar of stickiness is natural stickiness. So this is like your product's ability its natural tendency for people to come back and want to actually use it. So whether it's solving a really painful problem for them, or it's something that they work into their daily workflow, it's just something that this product is it's essential because it's naturally inclined to be like that. The next pillar is what I call short-term stickiness. So this is all about how well you onboard people into your software. So this can apply obviously to plugins is what we're talking about today, but it can also apply to other pieces of software if you build software for users. So how well you're onboarding people and getting them to actually start using the tool, getting to that first piece of value is very, very important. The next one is mid-term stickiness. So this is all around like getting them to understand what kind of return on investment they're getting from the tool. So if you're communicating really well with your audience, with your customers, and trying to teach them how well your tool, your software is performing for them, whether it's getting them more customers or leads or more money, whatever it is that you're helping them with, you're going to be able to keep people around better because you're communicating better with those people. All right? And the last one is long-term stickiness. So this isn't... long-term stickiness is really where you turn a solution, a piece of software, into like a household name, and you are building a long-term relationship with people and building that over years as well. Like, how do you increase the trust around a piece of software and get other people that are coming into it to see that trust, and also maintaining that trust with your current users? So I thought we would go through a few of these. So the first one, I call this painkillers, not vitamins. So it's all about the natural stickiness thing. So are you selling a painkiller or are you selling a vitamin? Now, this is an analogy, obviously, but painkillers, if you think about it, when you take a painkiller, you are solving a very, very sharp problem, and you're doing that in a way that is like it's a solution. Here you go, here's your problem, and here's your solution. So that's the painkiller. If you are thinking about vitamins, these might be like enhancers. So things that are, if you take a vitamin, you're maybe taking a vitamin C or a multivitamin every day, and that's going to help you over the long term. It's something that makes your life just that little bit better, okay? If you're thinking about software though, a painkiller software is going to solve a very specific problem, and it's going to solve it really well, and that naturally attracts people into your world. This isn't to say that people wouldn't buy vitamins, so it's just a whole lot easier to sell painkillers at this point. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples. The first one is Stripe versus Headspace. So who's heard of these companies? Obviously Stripe. What about Headspace though? Has anyone heard of Headspace? Okay, so Headspace, for those that don't know, is a meditation application. Stripe is a payment processor. Obviously there's multitude of different payment processors, but I would argue that if you have the problem of I want to take payments on my website, then you kind of need to have a payment processor. So that's a painkiller. And whether it's Stripe or if it's Square or PayPal or whatever it is, that's kind of like a must-have piece of software, and it's solving something very specific. Headspace is a little bit different. It is also a reasonably sized company, and it's all about meditation. So I meditate occasionally, but generally when I go to meditate, I just kind of sit there. And so I don't actually do anything special. It's just like, this is the act of me meditating. Headspace, however, is an application that you can have on your phone. You can put some headphones in, and it might make me 10% better at meditating. It'll increase my focus a little bit. It's kind of like a nice to have. And you can see this in their valuation. So with Stripe, their valuation is 30 times what Headspace is. So the interesting thing for me though was when I looked at the audience for these two pieces of, these two niches, payments and meditation both have a very similar trend line and very similar audience size. So it's not to say that people aren't interested in meditation to the same level as they are for payments. It's just that I think the difference comes down to the fact that Stripe is solving a very painful problem, and it's doing it really, really well. Whereas Headspace is coming in, you could argue that they're solving meditation, I guess, but you can meditate without Headspace. All right, so let's bring this back into the WordPress world. So that's kind of a bit more general, but if we think about plugins in the marketplace, so these ones are both on .org, both roughly the same age, I would say. Contact Form 7 is maybe a smidge older. I would argue that Contact Form 7 is a painkiller plugin, right? If you want to have a website, say you're a small business owner, and you need to have a form on your website to capture those people's details and email that to you, that's what a form plugin is solving, basically. Smush, on the other hand, if you're not familiar with Smush, it's a image compression plugin. So if you are, say, running a blog and you're uploading images all the time, maybe it's a photography blog or something like that, Smush will take those images that you're uploading and run it through an algorithm to shrink the size of the files. It basically gets rid of pieces of the image file and makes them a hell of a lot smaller. So they're going to be a lot faster to load on your site. And when it comes to things like SEO, we all know that page speed is a hugely important factor. So Smush is doing a very, very good job, and it's doing a great service for blog owners like that. But can you run a blog without Smush? I would argue yes, you pretty much can. So you don't need to have Smush on your website, but it does, maybe it'll give you a better page speed score, which is going to give you better SEO. If you want to create a website, say for a small business or something, and you need to have a form, you're going to have a form plugin of some kind of arrangement. So you can see this in their active installs. Contact Form 7's got 10 million active installs. Absolutely huge plugin. And Smush only has 1 million. I mean, I say only 1 million, but 1 million is still quite a lot. So it is doing a very, very good service, and it's a great plugin as well. But they have been around for a very similar age, and you can see the disparity between the two plugins and their install bases. So if you are selling a vitamin, eventually you're going to look like this. So after a couple of months, if you've built something cool, and that cool thing is very exciting, you might be really excited, just the same as if you'd built something to solve a pain. But if you are building just a cool tool, then you're going to end up feeling like this after a couple of months. So there's only so much you can actually try and convince people to use your tool or use your software. If it's the other way around and you've solved a painful problem, they're going to be coming to you, and that's a much, much nicer feeling. So you don't want to be, pushing whatever up a hill. So I thought I'd use myself as a test dummy here and talk a little bit about Wholesale Suite. So if you want to sell wholesale in WooCommerce, you pretty much need a wholesale plugin. It's a very complex problem once you start digging into it. And business owners have often very specific needs for wholesale. Now, Wholesale Suite, we solved wholesale for WooCommerce. I can confidently say we solved this pretty completely. We do like pricing, we do like multi-tiered pricing, we can do wholesale shipping and payments and order forms, product visibility, all the things that you can think about that you might have had as requirements for wholesale. We can say that Wholesale Suite pretty much solves them all. The other thing is as well, with Wholesale Suite, once you start using it as a business owner, you're going to be less likely to switch away from it. Okay, so it's solving your problem really well, and once you've invested a certain amount of time into that particular software, it's unlikely you'll switch because you've invested so much into it. Now, I've got another plugin. So after we built Wholesale Suite, we started getting a lot of requests for coupons or discounts in more dynamic kind of ways than wholesale. So we ended up building advanced coupons, and advanced coupons basically extends the features of your coupons in WooCommerce. So who thinks it's a painkiller? Who thinks it's a vitamin? Probably a vitamin? You're right. So it is a vitamin, and I didn't realize this for the longest time. So basically, advanced coupons, yes, you can run a sale on your WooCommerce store. You don't need advanced coupons. It's actually only extending the features of the coupons. So if you want to do something fancy, maybe you would need it. But in general, you can do it as a store owner. You can run a deal and not have advanced coupons. Now, what we realized over time was that it wasn't enough to get people to stick around. So we ended up trying to shift it more into that painkiller direction. And we did so because we built a painkiller feature. So we ended up building a feature inside of advanced coupons called Store Credits. And Store Credits basically adds like an account for all of the customers on the site, and it lets the store owner, refund to Store Credits, or they can grant their users Store Credit. And that moved it just a little bit over into that painkiller kind of territory, which really, really helped the adoption, and people started looking for us rather than us trying to tell them, go and use our thing. All right, so that's natural stickiness. This section here is all about short-term stickiness. So trying to get people to actually use your stuff is a lot harder than it sounds. And I've boiled it down to basically what is the time to value. So when you install something or you start using a piece of software, how long does it take for you to get some sort of value? And first impressions count, basically. So the first time that people come into contact with your plugin, they are looking for some solution. They're looking to get something out of it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have installed your plugin. And your job as a software owner or a software developer is basically to reduce the amount of time that it takes for them to get to that point. All right. So I thought I'd actually brainstorm. I was putting my slides together. I thought I'd brainstorm because I was talking about Contact Form 7. What could I do for a Contact Form plugin? If I was the owner of Contact Form 7, and I wanted to get people to that first bit of value. So for me, the first bit of value for a form plugin is actually to create a form. Shock horror. So you want to get a form up and running as quick as possible. And this really should only take you minimal effort and minimal time. So for me, after you install the plugin, what I see a lot of plugins do, and I'm sure you've all experienced this, is when you install the plugin, you click activate, and then the page refreshes, and nothing happens. So it's literally like a situation of you don't know what to do next. And you're playing that game of like, what's changed on my WordPress dashboard? I don't actually know. And you go hunting for the menu and maybe there's some settings pages or something like that. So one thing you can do is install a welcome page. So after the plugin activates, show a welcome page and have there a main CTA for creating a form. Okay, the next one is, could you add the most common fields? So we all know most forms would have like a name and an email. Maybe there's like a message. These are basic fields that generally get added to most contact forms. So could you install those fields straight away as soon as you start creating a form? The next thing I thought of was to create templates. And the most common thing, I would say probably the 80-20 of forms being created on a form plugin would be a simple contact form. But then you got like requesting a quote, you've got like newsletter signups, maybe you've got like a sports team sign up, or there's lots of different types of forms that people want to have on their websites. And lastly, I thought what would be the most simple, easiest way, literally if you typed in a sentence to describe your form and it magically created it for you. And that's kind of where we're heading with AI features, seeing some of the form plugins add this kind of thing. So I came up with those examples because we actually did some of these in advanced coupons. So like I said, we had a bit of a retention problem on advanced coupons for our first users. We want to do as much as we can to actually get people using the plugin. So the first thing that we did was well, actually it's not the first thing. We only recently put in this welcome screen a couple of years ago. But what happens is when you install advanced coupons for the first time, after the page refreshes, it takes you to this welcome screen. And the whole point of this is to orient the user. And we want to show them exactly what to do next. Reassure them made a good choice and show them what to do next. For us, one of the first things we want them to do is read our Getting Started guide, because the Getting Started guide captures a lot of the more difficult to understand concepts, different coupon types and stuff like that. And this is actually probably one of our most popular pages on our entire website. The next thing that we thought of was, could we add templates into this mix? So with coupons, a lot of the times what we were finding was that store owners would maybe run a deal and then they would leave it for a couple of months and they'd kind of forget about it and not really know what to actually make next. So coupon templates kind of gave us a way to inject some new life into this, like give them some ideas about what to actually add, what to create on their store, what kind of deals they can do, and they can get up to speed a lot quicker. And for new users, they can actually get started with a campaign like really, really fast. So when you go into a coupon template, it will curate the experience of adding a new coupon for that particular style of template. All right, so just quickly, the anatomy of a good welcome screen. So I do see some plugins starting to add these welcome screens, and I honestly think it's a really great way to orientate your user. But also, it's a good way for you to reinforce that they've made a good choice. So when you, as a user, if you're choosing amongst a number of plugins, you kind of want to make sure that you're making a good choice. And as a plugin owner, I can use this opportunity when I've got their attention to reinforce that they've actually made a good choice in choosing my plugin. The next thing that I like to do is add in social proof. So social proof is really, really good for encouraging people to take actions, or even to reinforce that they've made a good choice again. And then lastly, adding in some more reassurance and then next step. So telling them what to actually go and do next. If you scroll down our welcome page there, the next section there is going back into that, reinforcing the main features. So these are the main reasons that we find people install advanced coupons. And so it's BOGO deals and store credits and URL coupons. These are all really hot features that people have been asking us for, and people want to know that we have these things. So this is almost like this is a bit of product education. Like they don't know that we actually have these things until we tell them, hey, we've got these things. So it's reinforcing it in that way. And there's also a secondary CTA here as well. And going down the page a little bit, Advanced Coupons is a premium plugin, so we do have other stuff to sell them as well. And I wanted to kind of paint the picture of what their life could be like after they had our whole suite of tools. So again, this is like a product education thing. A lot of people don't actually know or are aware of the things that you have for sale unless you tell them about it. So this is a good opportunity and an appropriate space for you to actually make those sections and make those things known to them. And then lastly, social proof, more social proof. So with social proof, humans are a little bit like pack animals. We don't like to do things unless we know that other people have done them before. And this is where, having on display how many people have got you installed, or how many star ratings you've got, and what testimonials and things like that you can bring to the surface there, will just put their mind at ease, and it gives them a good reason to go, okay, this is safe to install, this is a good thing to use, and I'm safe in making this choice. Now, if you don't have a welcome screen, that's totally fine. For us, we got away with this admin notice for years and years and years, and it literally serves the exact same purpose. So after you install the plugin, you click activate, this admin notice will show one time after the page refreshes. And if you notice, it's still got the exact same main CTA. So it's literally doing the same job. Now, another way to get people onboarded onto your tool, onto your software, is to use wizards. So with wizards, this is a good idea if your plugin or if your software has a lot of configuration or decisions that they have to make before they get started with your tool, or before they can get some value from it. So if you've got to explain some things maybe before they can make that decision as well, it's good. And it's good for creating things like pages, if you need them to make a selection and then you create certain pages, those kind of things. You also see wizards installing secondary plugins. So WooCommerce do this, a lot of the big plugins do this. They will install secondary plugins for you that can add extra benefits. So we ended up doing this in WC Vendors. So WC Vendors was a plugin that we acquired. And some of you might know the previous owner, Jamie. He was often at WordCamp Brisbane. Basically, what you have to understand about WC Vendors is it's a marketplace plugin. So if you're trying to make, say, like an Etsy clone or an eBay clone or something like that, WC Vendors can turn your WooCommerce store into a marketplace. But with WC Vendors, there is a difficult conceptual thing for you to understand, which is commissions. Now, with a marketplace, you have vendors, or you can think of them as sellers. And as a marketplace owner, I need to split the revenue with those people. So the commission is the amount that you're splitting with the vendor. And we found that people were getting confused about this. So they would get through our old wizard, and before we redesigned it, and they would bail out because they just didn't understand what a commission was, and we were asking them too early to set that without any explanation. So that was a really good move for WC Vendors. We also use the opportunity to enable and disable like certain capabilities and important settings that they've got to make decisions about. And then we tell them what to do next. So very similar to a welcome page, we want to help them understand what to do next. The next thing you can do is checklists or challenges. So I'm a big fan of checklists because they help people achieve the goals that they're trying to get to. And with a checklist, these are things that don't necessarily fit into a wizard. The plugin might already have a wizard, but then afterwards there may also be a checklist that they've got to do as well. They can be things that are too complex for a wizard, but they are also things that are key to understanding and unlocking that first bit of value. So my favorite example for this is WooCommerce. So WooCommerce do actually have a wizard, and the things that they've got in their checklist though are quite interesting, because you could argue maybe they could try and put this into the wizard, like they're already bumping people into the wizard at the start anyway. But if you think about it, adding a product is kind of complex. Getting paid, so that's like setting up your payment gateways, setting up your shipping methods, configuring your tax options and all that kind of stuff. These can be all really complex tasks, but they are essential to getting to the first piece of value. So if you want to use WooCommerce and get some value out of it, you need to sell something. In order to sell something, you got to do these things. So it was very, very smart of them to add a checklist here and have people guided through what they've got to do next. Another great example is from WP Forms. So there's another form plugin, probably I would say maybe the number 2 biggest. But basically they have this thing called a 5-minute challenge. So after you install the plugin, you're given this option to start the WP Forms challenge. And with WP Forms, if you click this button here, it drops you straight into their builder. And down on the left, hopefully, right, it's hopefully not too small, but you can see there they've got basically a checklist. It's the same thing as like in WooCommerce, but they're also adding in a little bit of a time pressure. So with the countdown there going from 5 minutes, as a user, it makes you feel like you've got to get in there and actually achieve these things. And the goal is literally to add a simple contact form, which, their build is very simple. You can do this in probably 30 seconds. It's actually not that hard. The next thing is Thirsty Affiliates. So this is something that we pioneered back long time ago. So we ended up using what's called the WP Pointer library. So if you're familiar with the backend of WordPress, WP Pointer is a library that comes with WordPress core, and you can use it to create a tour. So you literally just point it at the correct elements, and you can present some text, have next, previous, close, and all that kind of thing. And this is really good for explaining conceptually hard stuff. So with Thirsty Affiliates, one of the things we had to get over was people didn't know what the heck link cloaking was. Because back then it was actually a really foreign concept to people. They didn't understand it. And this kind of helped us get past that road bump and got people using it. Okay, so that is short term. So those are all the things that you can do to get people to actually use your plugin. Now, communicating ROI. So, when I think about like getting people to stay with your solution and keep using your plugin or your piece of software, I think communication is absolutely key. Because if you don't have good communication with your customers, then they literally will think you've gone inactive and they'll just disappear themselves as well. So this is all about increasing your midterm stickiness. The first thing you got to do before you actually do anything inside of your app is start collecting emails and building up a list. If you don't have a list of your customers and you don't have permission to communicate with them, you literally can't communicate with them. So if you've got a free plugin, this can be a little bit more tricky because it's kind of hard to collect emails within the back end of WordPress. So I would recommend, even if you've only got a free plugin, to also create a free plugin website. So one of the other talks today, I think it was about PHP Vitals, which I found was quite interesting. And he actually did the right thing. He created his own website, phpvitals.com. And this then lets him rank for those terms in Google. And he could even start up a landing page to collect emails to download the free plugin. So this is what we've done on a lot of our stuff. The other thing you can do is create a lot of offers. These are going to be things that people kind of want and will naturally attract your target audience. So for example, with Wholesale Suite, we have a quick start guide. So setting up Wholesale is kind of complex. And we wanted to create a guide that would actually help people get started as quick as possible. So we made this PDF, and they just put in their email and they can get the PDF. The other thing we do is free tools. So we can do things like, we have like a wholesale terms generator. And it will let you generate the terms and conditions for your wholesale program, and you just got to put in your email address to get the actual result out of that. I'd also recommend inserting the winning offer, like whatever is converting best for you. Put that into your plugins like settings area or your help section, and don't forget to send regular communications. So some people have asked me like, how regular is too regular? I mean, from some brands, I get like daily emails, and it can be a bit much. But I think in our space, weekly is not unreasonable. Getting a weekly email that's actually helpful is quite welcome for a lot of people. And we break this down. Basically, we go like once a month, we send a newsletter, then we send some tutorials and how-to kind of guides, and maybe we'll send a video. It's very easy to break down a communication pattern like that if you've got a plan. All right, so this is the free plugin landing page on our website for Wholesale Suite. And this is honestly one of our highest converting pages for collecting people's email address. And the reason it converts is that people will find us in Google, they'll come here, they'll click install free plugin, and then they see an opt-in pop up here, and then we give them the zip file. And the zip file is literally sourced from .org. We also put our quick start guide into our free help section, into our free plugin in the help section. So people can click that, they come to our website, opt in, same sort of thing. If you're wondering how to make these kind of things, I have tried just about every pop-up type plugin on the market, and I keep coming back to Opt-in Monster because it's easy, and you can A/B test the opt-ins. So A/B testing on these things is very, very important because it's quite high up in your funnel. If you can get like a couple of percentage points more, it's going to mean more people giving you an email address and more people you're able to communicate with. All right, the next thing you can do is add like some sort of indicator or in-app progress. So for us, what we did with Wholesale Suite was we added in an email, and this would come out, it says weekly there, it's actually monthly, that shows them how many wholesale orders they've gotten over that period, what their wholesale revenue was over that period, and how many wholesale leads they got over that period. Now, users can actually opt out of this in the settings, and it's important that you do put it like an opt-out, otherwise you'll get complaining people. But people rarely do, because they actually look forward to this monthly rundown of how well they're doing. And I think it's a really good progress indicator and kind of like a roadmap for them. The next one we can do is in-app dashboards or notifications. So you'll see this on a lot of plugins as well. We added it into our new plugin. So this is Store Agent, which is an AI tool for WooCommerce, absolutely brand new. We only just launched the free plugin for it. But in this case, it's actually doing double duty. So for Store Agent, it's helping people understand how to use our AI tools. So it'll surface recommendations like, this product description here is too short, and expand it with AI. But also, it's communicating the value that we're adding. 10 minutes, good, thank you. So having a dashboard can be very, very helpful for reinforcing the value that you're giving them. Now, the last one is long-term stickiness, and this is all about trust loops. So getting people to like and trust and think that you're a legitimate solution. So the thing about long-term trust is it takes a long time to achieve. That's why it's called long-term trust. Wholesale Suite is over 10 years old now. We put a lot of effort and late nights and a lot of, I'm not going to say tears, but maybe there was some tears in there too. But we didn't build this trust overnight. So it took a very, very long time to build up our user base and to get the reviews and all these kind of things. It takes consistent effort, and it takes staying active. So if you're going to build something, you've got to be in it for the long haul. When I talk about like long-term trust, a lot of what I'm talking about is like getting reviews from people, getting case studies, testimonials. Getting people to do those things can be difficult, but there's a little trick. You can just ask them for what you need. And over the long term, you will start collecting more and more of these things. So reviews, testimonials, case studies. Like I said before, with social proof, humans are pack animals. So we like to know that somebody else has actually done this before and they've had a good time doing it and it's safe. So it lowers people's defenses, basically. So we're more likely to do things that others have done before. And every little bit of social proof that you can add, either to your emails, to your website, to your actual in-app, it can help you convert more people and help make those decisions a lot easier. So these are our actual reviews. We've got a lot of 5 stars here. So how do we get more of them? I'm going to tell you exactly how we do. So we just ask them. For Ad Tribes, we acquired this plugin. It's a product feed plugin for WooCommerce. Had a lot of users. There wasn't a very good ask for reviews in this. So what we ended up doing was on our own screens, we added in this notice after a couple of weeks. So presumably, after a couple of weeks using it, they're getting some good value out of it. And it's important that you time the ask for when you need that review. You've got to time it properly. If I asked you for a review as soon as I installed the plugin, that's not a good experience for the user. So you need to really be conscious about your timing when you're asking for things and asking for them at the appropriate time. The next one is you can add, so with advanced coupons, obviously it's a premium plugin. After a couple of weeks, we send them an email asking them for a review. So this is presumably they had a good time, they're a couple of weeks in, they're using the tool, and then we just send them a quick email to say, do you have 30 seconds to leave us a review on .org? And the other place you can do it is after positive support experiences. So if you have a support team, you can train them to keep an eye out for these positive experiences and then send them a short form kind of canned response to collect reviews. And you'll notice we're actually asking for reviews on multiple platforms, and a lot of people will do this. So if you leave them with a really great impression with your support, they're going to go so far for you in giving them a positive support experience. So where can you use these? You can put them on your site, on your homepage, your pricing page, your checkout. You can also add them into social proofing your emails. So our review ask, we actually add social proof into this as well. And you can turn them into social media posts as well. So I saw FunnelKit doing this the other day. They have this thing called Testimonial Tuesday. I just thought it was a really clever way, another good way to use reviews and testimonials as well. All right, the next thing, how much time have I got left? 5 minutes? Okay, so capitalizing on cancellations and refunds. I would say don't take refunds and cancellations personally. I used to take them very personally, but now I kind of use them to increase your retention. And the way you do that is by acting on them. So whenever somebody tries to cancel, we put them through a quick survey to ask them why they're canceling. It's totally fine to do this. And people will give you honest feedback at that point too. We also ask for refunds, like why are you refunding? And people will often give you positive feedback, tell you how to get better. And we kind of log those all into a spreadsheet. And once a quarter, we come through and we run this loop here. So we do our planning in our company quarterly. And we kind of report on all of the refund and cancellation reasons and why people are leaving. We do that quarterly planning. Then once the quarterly planning's set, we implement features and hopefully plug all the holes. So the idea is we want to kill all the bugs that are causing refunds, build the features that we want that people are refunding because we don't have those features, and run that loop over time. All right, I do have some homework in here as well for you guys. If you're building a software piece, here's 7 steps to make your plugin stickier this month. I would say conduct a pain audit. So this is like, are you building a solution to solve a painful problem, or are you building a vitamin? Plan a painkiller feature if you don't have one. Time yourself. What is the first moment that people kind of get, okay, I've got some value out of this? And try and get that under 5 minutes if you can. Design a welcome experience. It can be a page, or it can be a wizard or a challenge if you want to go that far. The next one is implementing a cancellation loop, like a way for you to collect feedback and put that back into your pipeline. And then the last couple here, launch and optimize a lead magnet on your website. Automate some sort of email so you can communicate that ROI to people. And I would challenge you to collect 4 fresh testimonials in the next month, okay? So if you can do that, you can start timing these asks at the right time, put them under autopilot so you can start collecting that social proof for the long term. Okay, and that's it. Thank you. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn or X. I don't know if we've got time for questions, but if anyone has any. Okay, anyone questions? Brett?
How have you found the plugin ecosystem change in real time?
It has changed massively. So I think a lot more people are starting to pay attention to things like what I've presented today. And they're thinking about like, how can I retain users? Because you don't want to have that experience of like having a plugin activated and then nothing happens. It just means you lose people right out of the gate. So that's the biggest thing I've seen change over time. Yeah. Go for it.
Which one?
Yeah. There's a hook that you can. I can't remember the name of it, but you can hook into after it's activated. And I would say don't show this like again and again. You want to make sure that you only show it on the first activation.
Social proof, like, do some plugins like fake?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like the chicken and egg scenario. Like if you don't have social proof, how do you get social proof? But I would say don't fake it. People will know and they'll find out, and it leaves you with a bad reputation. So it's better to have no social proof and work on just making connections with people and helping your early customers, asking them for reviews when you can, and just slowly build that over time.